In today's video, I'm going to be replacing the wax ring on my toilet. Now, I know I have a leaky wax ring because I was in the crawl space underneath this bathroom the other day running some Cat 6 cable, and I noticed that there was a little bit of water on the concrete slab of the crawl space down there, and then I traced that water up to the drain pipe and the flange that connects to this toilet, and I had somebody flush this toilet this morning, and when somebody flushed this toilet from the upstairs while I was downstairs, I could clearly see that water was coming out as the toilet was flushing. So that tells me right there that I have a bad wax seal. Now, how this toilet works is there is a water supply line right there. That's just cold water supply line, and that feeds into the holding tank right here. And then when you flush, there's a valve that lifts up and it releases the water in the holding tank, and it goes in the toilet, and it basically pushes everything in the bowl through a P-trap, which a P-trap goes something like this. And basically what a P-trap does is it holds water in there, and that water acts as kind of like a seal, and that prevents the nasty smelling sewer gases from coming back up through the toilet and having your bathroom smell like crap. Anyway, the way that P-trap seals itself to the drain pipe is via a wax seal. And over time, these go bad and they will leak. This one's guaranteed for 10 years, so hopefully I won't have to do this again for quite some time. First things first, take the cap off the holding tank of your toilet, put it off to the side, get your towel ready to go for a little bit later. So the first thing we're going to do again is shut off this water valve, which you want to turn it all the way to the right, righty-tighty. We're going to open this up and start draining out the toilet, try and get as much water out of the tank as possible. And because we shut off our water valve, this is not going to refill, and that's what you want. So there's a little bit of water left in the holding tank, and there's a little bit of water left in the P-trap, and I think the easiest thing to do here is to take my handy dandy wet vac and suck this up, which I'm not thrilled about. But anyway, this is the time where you want to wear gloves, and hey, it's got to be done. Alright, next thing I gotta do is disconnect the water line, which you're gonna want to disconnect it after the valve. Mine's a little tight. Wherever I come in contact with the bolt that's a little tight, I'll work it to the right, work it to the left, go back and forth, and that just seems to help it loosen up. Next thing we need to do is start removing the bolts that hold the toilet to the floor. And in my case, it's going to be a 5/8 inch socket. So the handy dandy socket wrench. And that bolt. Now the fun part. Now I need to lift up this toilet, and I'm thinking the easiest thing to do would be to lay it down on its side, because I'm going to need to access the wax seal that is underneath it. So I'm going to get another towel first. Okay. I'm going to lift this toilet. Try to anyway. Should come right up. It's pretty heavy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Lay it down on the side like so, and there we are. And you can see that there is not much left of the original wax ring, so get you a closer look in a second here. There's a better look at the old wax ring, and you can see that there's a huge dip right here. And I think what's been happening is somehow moisture, well, clearly moisture has been getting around the wax seal, and I think it's been going down in this hole or in between the tile and the floor. And just every time you flush this toilet, you can definitely see probably 25 drips in the basement below. So what I gotta do now is simply remove the old wax seal. Sometimes they'll be stuck on this bottom portion of the toilet, which in my case, it does not appear to be stuck. So I think the easiest thing to do here is to take a plastic bag and flip it inside out like you would, you know, when you're picking up a dog turd, and we'll just pick that up and we'll take the new wax seal and we'll put it on the toilet and lay her back down. Alright, gotta pick up the dog poop here. Oh yeah, she's shot. She's been shot for a while. Oh yeah, she's gone. Already gone. Here's the new wax seal. As you can see, the newer wax seal has this alignment flange, which this is definitely better. And when you buy these seals, try and buy the jumbo seals. Wouldn't recommend going with the super cheap, like standard seals. I mean, even this kit with the bolt kit, this cost maybe $7. It was like another $3 for that other new cap set. So anyway, I got this all cleaned up best that I could. I mean, there's some rust on there, but you know, it is what it is. So what I need to do now is I need to put the new seal on the bottom of the toilet. The flange on the new seal is going to face down because that's going to be received into the drain. So all you do here is just peel this back a bit. Try not to crush the seal. Start peeling back the packaging, which you'll see that it's kind of designed to tear apart. Push from the bottom and just pull that old packaging off. Now, if you did have some wax on here, now would be a good time to peel that all back, but it looks pretty clean. I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do is just take this new wax seal, try and center it, and apply a little bit of pressure. Alright, so I got the new wax seal on there. Now I need to just simply reinstall the toilet. Gotta make sure I realign the two mounting bolts as well as this hard fill line. That's all gotta line up perfectly, so it should be fun. Alright, I think we got her. I think she's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. All I have to do now is just reinstall everything the way that it was. So first thing I'm going to do is reinstall the mounting bolts, which there's actually a little bit of crud on the porcelain where those bolts mount. So I'm actually going to clean that up a little bit first. Then I'll put the mounting bolts back on there. We'll put those new caps on and then I will reconnect the water line. For these new toilet caps, they come with these little spin-on receiver brackets, and the instructions say to put that on first. They have like a rubberized anti-spin washer. I'm going to put an original metal washer back on there, and then the bolt itself. So I'm going to do that on both sides, and then it's important that you try and seat the wax evenly. So you want to put a little bit of pressure on one side, tighten up one side, maybe a turn or two, and then go to the other side. Put a little bit of pressure on the other side, give it a turn or two, and then keep going back and forth until this thing is fully seated on the ground. Next thing I need to do is go back behind the toilet and reconnect the water supply line. And last thing we need to do is turn the water back on. Make sure nothing's leaking. I like to turn the valve all the way to the left, back seated, and then turn it to the right a little bit so it's not putting too much pressure on that valve. Seems to be working okay. The real test will be when I go downstairs, look up at the floor joist where I saw the leak before and see if I see any water coming through it. Hopefully not. Alright, in order to check this, I gotta fit through this itty bitty crawl space. Alright. Oh, hate being in here. Alright, so there's a little bit of moisture that I initially found on the concrete slab. And if you look up here, you can see this has been going on for a little while. But thankfully, I caught this before this really started to rot out. Maybe there's just a little bit of rot in here, but everything still feels pretty darn solid. And that's the toilet flange right up there. So, flush the toilet, see if we hear any water. Beautiful. I don't see one drop of water coming through. Which before I replaced the wax seal, by now you could definitely see, 30 drops of water coming down on the floor. Not one drop at all, so this is a good repair. I'll close this project out by saying it's definitely a good thing I was in here doing this Cat 6 run the other day, because if I was never in here, I never would have identified this leaky flange, and then who knows, that joist, floor joist, would have eventually rotted out. So, it's a good idea to get in your basement from time to time and just inspect things. Look for any leaks, look for anything out of order. I mean, of course the insulation is all kind of coming down in here because they didn't put any strapping in, so that's going to be another project for the future. But, just keep an eye out for leaks. The oil supply line for my oil burner that comes in from the outside comes in right here, so while I'm in here, just inspecting that, make sure that's not tripping anywhere. Aside from the insulation coming down, I think everything else is in order in the basement for now. So that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. If you need to purchase a wax seal, I'll leave a link for one in the description below, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.